Hi there, my name's Cam and welcome to AskMeI'mBipolar.com. Today I'm going to be answering the question, what does a panic attack feel like? A panic attack is what happens when your body responds to stress by putting itself in fight or flight mode, also known as the fight or flight response. Now in human evolution, this was a necessary thing. If you think back to sort of early humans, Neanderthals, if they were faced with some kind of horrific, dangerous creature that was going to kill them, the body going into fight or flight mode was necessary, because without it, they probably would have died. The difference between going into fight or flight mode for a genuine reason, as in something's about to attack you and kill you if you don't respond, and a panic attack, is that with a panic attack, there isn't usually that danger actually present. The stimulus for a panic attack can be absolutely anything. It doesn't have to be mortal danger. For me personally, it can be being in a room with too many people. It can be being downstairs in TK Maxx in Manchester's Arndale. That put me into a panic attack once because I felt really enclosed. It could be anything, literally anything. It's completely dependent upon you as a person. Some people can have multiple panic attacks a day. I've had 3 or 4 in a day maximum thus far. But even 3 or 4, even 1 is really, really draining on your body. I mean, the effects that it has on you, the chemical, physical effects that it has on you, it makes you want to sleep straight away afterwards. So imagine having that like multiple times in a day. When you go into fight or flight mode, your body is preparing to either fight or run away from danger. So it floods your body with chemicals, with hormones. To put it basically, when you go into fight or flight mode, your body is flooded with adrenaline, norepinephrine, and cortisol. Adrenaline can make you breathe faster, sweat, and tense all your muscles ready for action. Norepinephrine makes you more alert, it gives you a boost of energy, and it takes away the blood from areas that you don't need it, so your digestive system, for example, and puts it in places that you do need it, so vital organs, which you may need to protect from the danger. And cortisol, of course, affects your blood pressure and your fluid balance. That's the stress hormone. Have a look at this list of all the effects of fight or flight mode on your body. So the short answer for what a panic attack feels like is horrible. I've had many panic attacks over my life. I've been given propranolol to help me with that, which is a beta blocker. It slows the heart rate down. So when I start feeling that feeling that starts coming up and my heart rate starts going faster, I'm supposed to take my tablet and then it kind of calms it down. And to be fair, it does work for me. The last significant panic attack that I had, I was in a car park. I'd just come out of a shopping centre full of people. I'd been there for about an hour and my anxiety levels had just risen and risen and risen until they burst, basically. I remember getting into my car and driving down out of sort of like a spiral car park to the point where you have to put your ticket in the machine. Now, something had gone wrong with my ticket and the machine was beeping at me. But by this point, I was already in fight or flight mode, so I'd already started with my symptoms. My heart rate had started going really fast. I remember trying to breathe because obviously your breathing rate will affect your heart rate, so I was trying to slow my breathing down. I use a thing called combat breathing, so that's like 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, 4 seconds hold. So I was trying to do that to kind of calm myself down. I'd gone into tunnel vision. I couldn't really see things that around peripheral vision had gone. I was just seeing what was in front of me. Sounds were suddenly really loud because I remember the beeping of the machine. The ticket machine was really going through my head. It was sort of hurting my ears, even though it probably wasn't that loud. And I just panicked. I absolutely panicked. I was sweating. I was struggling to control myself for a good half an hour, which I'm sure really annoyed people because I was then stuck in my car for half an hour blocking one of the exits. But yeah, I couldn't speak. I tried to get hold of my phone, but I just felt like all my limbs were like jelly, like I couldn't do anything like that. I wanted to get hold of my phone and call someone, but then I couldn't think to speak. My brain was just going so fast that I just couldn't formulate sentences. And all I can remember thinking to myself was, just breathe, just breathe. Obviously, it took me about probably half an hour to get through it and get my body back out of fight or flight mode. But it's a horrible experience. Like, you know, it's panic. It's pure panic. I mean, if you've ever really been in a situation that's properly frightened you, or, you know, that's exactly what happens, but it happens multiple times in a day, or it happens out of control for no reason, and there's nothing you can do about it other than sort of like work on your coping mechanisms and maybe work with your GP to sort of use medication if necessary. By the end of it, I was shaking and I was sweating and I was exhausted. So the one thing that about panic attacks is once you've had a panic attack, you just want to sleep there and then. You could probably sleep for a few hours. It's the most exhausting thing ever, and to have that multiple times in a day, it just ruins your life, literally. You can't function like that. You know, I have a friend of mine, she has multiple panic attacks in a day, and you know, you can't work, you can't live, you can't do anything. You're just sleeping half the time and then panicking the rest of the time. So it's not, you know, it's not something to be taken lightly. If somebody has panic attacks, don't just be like, oh, you know, you'll get over it. Well, yeah, you will, but it's the physical effect on your body that people don't seem to understand with mental health. You know, yes, okay, the mental side of things is hard enough, but the physical side of things, that's what makes it hard to live with. You know, mental stuff you can kind of cope with to a point, you can get help with. The physical side effects of these things, that's the killer. So after my panic attack in the car park, I was in my car, and I probably shouldn't have drove, to be fair, but I felt like I could, so I managed to get my parents on loudspeaker, and I told them that I was coming to their house because it was closer than where I lived. I drove to their house. The whole time I was driving, I could feel my heart rate wasn't back to normal, but it was better than it was. It wasn't racing like a galloping horse anymore. It was just, you know, it was just low-level palpitations now. My breathing was almost back to normal, but I was just so tired. The exhaustion just hit me like a ton of bricks. I got back to my parents' house. I just said I had a panic attack, and I lay on the sofa, and that was it. I think I slept for about 4 or 5 hours, and then I woke up. So yeah, it's a real problem. Like, people don't seem to understand that sometimes, and I'm hoping these videos will help people understand that, you know, when someone said they've had a panic attack, don't think of it as something that's lasted for about a couple of minutes, or something that's lasted for even 15, 20 minutes, whatever the time for the panic attack was. You know, you've got to think then there's actually a recovery period after that of a couple of hours. So, you know, someone's saying they're going to do something and then they have a panic attack and they don't do the thing that they said they were going to do, or they don't go out, or they don't meet you, or whatever it was. There's a genuine reason that that's happened. It's not because they can't be bothered, it's because they physically cannot get up and do it. They're exhausted. I mean, can you imagine being in a really high stress situation 24 hours a day almost? You know, that's what anxiety's like. It can be triggered by anything. It's completely dependent on the person. I mean, I'm lucky. I used to have really, really acute anxiety. It was terrible. I had multiple panic attacks every day. Now, because I'm medicated and I've made a lot of changes in my life and my lifestyle, now I get them every, I don't know, couple of months, depending on what I'm doing. If I've got stressful things happening, I'm more likely to have one, obviously. But it's not all the time anymore. And even when it is just that one time, once every few months, it still knocks me out for the entire day almost. I find that now, with my coping mechanisms, with my combat breathing, with the fact that I've had to change my entire lifestyle, my sleeping patterns, my exercise, my diet, etc., I can sometimes feel the panic attacks starting, but I can control it because I know what it feels like now. When you're just starting out with these things and you're not entirely sure what's happening, that's even worse because that's even scarier. But now I'm sort of like used to it. I have to just ride it out, and I know I can ride it out, and I know I'm going to be okay because it's happened to me that many times. But I also know that I'm going to be absolutely knackered at the end of it. Another thing with panic attacks is even though your head's swimming while you're having the panic attack, and that can cause confusion, and it's just a horrible feeling in general, then you've got the aftermath as well. So you're going to be feeling groggy and non-functional for a couple of hours. And it's that weird sort of, sometimes it makes me feel like I'm watching myself having a panic attack. And I know that probably sounds really weird, but it's the best way I can describe it. It's sort of like almost like an out-of-body experience. It's like I'm watching me having a panic attack and I'm like saying to myself, calm down, it's going to be okay, breathe. But then I can see what's happening to me and I can feel sort of like this panic washing over me and it's sort of taking control and I'm losing control and, you know, my head's starting to go and I'm getting confused and I can't really understand what's happening anymore. And yeah, it's a really horrible, horrible experience. I don't think anyone will ever tell you that a panic attack is a good thing. It's the worst feeling. Like I said, if you've ever been in a situation where you felt pure panic, then imagine having that a couple of times a day. Even when you get used to the fact of the mental side of it and you know what's happening, then the physical effects still knock you out. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video helps you understand what a panic attack feels like. If you've experienced a panic attack yourself, please tell me about it in the comments below. Everybody's experiences can be different, so I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to check out the website at askmeimbipolar.com. Give us a like and a share on Facebook and Twitter, and if you have any questions at all that you'd like me to answer on video, you can contact me either on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on the website, or by email.